everyone. Welcome to Enjoy English. I'm Alice.
I'm Betty.
And today in our celebrations unit, we're talking about let's enjoy one of the world's biggest arts events. The Edinburgh Festival Fringe, kind of hard to say, is a cultural explosion. So it's not just a small event, it's clearly something very significant.
Right, and it sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are coming to that event. Because I actually checked this one out, and it has a variety of shows and also artists from all over the world. 我们来看一下这边哦，我们就说来去全世界最大的艺术飨宴之一，这个是哪里呢？这个我们先来看一下标题的这几个字 ，arts event， 这个是我们所谓的艺术的节庆。那同学有发现这个 arts 它其实是一个名词，可是呢，为什么它这里要加 s？ 一般来讲不是 arts 都不可数吗？那尤其是它放在 event 前面，因为什么感觉它名词当形容词用，它还加了 s 呢？这是因为有很多种的艺术，所以我们这边就把它加了 s。那有一些字也会这样用，比如说运动盛典、运动会。那因为很多运动嘛，不是只有一个，所以我们也会讲 sports event。这个同学小心一下。那我们再来看副标题的地方，这个我们把它翻译成爱丁堡的易碎节，这个还蛮有趣的这个翻译。我们等一下会来看一下易碎节的由来是怎么样。他就说它其实是一个文化的爆炸，这个爆炸不是说真的爆炸了，它这个意思是说很多东西聚集在一起，感觉很目不暇接，快要爆炸的感觉。那我们就来看一下内文有什么东西吧。
Let's enjoy one of the world's biggest arts events. Artists can be wild, and they often prefer to create their own rules. In the case of the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, it's a great opportunity for them. The Edinburgh Festival Fringe is the third largest cultural event in the world. It all started in 1947. This was the first year that Edinburgh hosted a festival for classical music and drama. 8 theater companies that were not invited showed up and performed their own shows at smaller venues in the city. Their hope was to take advantage of the large festival crowds and show off their skills to people. One of the meanings of the word fringe is around the border, or the outside of an area. It's a perfect name because these theater companies performed on the edge of the city, and they were also performing works that were somewhat outside or on the fringe of the mainstream culture. The Edinburgh Festival Fringe takes place in August every year. This year, the festival will run from August 4th to August 28th. With free entry and thousands of performances, it's not an event you'll want to miss.
All right, let's begin. So we start off with artists can be wild, and they often prefer to create their own rules. So maybe if you're wild, you don't follow all the rules, right? You just kind of say, you know what, I'm going to decide what I want to do. No one can tell me what to do.
对 ，wild 感觉就是有一种很不受控的感觉，尤其是在讲艺术家，感觉就是想做什么就做什么。那 wild 当然有的时候情境也很多，比如说我头发今天很乱 ，My hair is wild today。然后还有呢几个 wild 的用法，比如说小朋友很野啊，一直在那边不听话，你也可以说 wild。那这里我们用wild 来形容艺术家，那所以说他们就通常呢都喜欢去自己创造他们自己的规定。这里我们来看一下 prefer 的用法 ，prefer to do something。如果你想要再加长句子，让句子再难一点点的话，你可以说 prefer to do A rather than B。那我们要不要造个句子给大家一下
You could say, I prefer to go biking over swimming, right?
Right.
That means I like biking more than swimming. Maybe I still like swimming, right? It doesn't usually mean I hate it, but it means that I like biking more.
对，两个选一个，或者是呢，我也给大家一个例子 ：Some people prefer to drive rather than take public transport。很多人都喜欢自己开车啦，我也喜欢自己开车，不喜欢等公车这样子。好，这个用法同学可以记一下。
In the case of the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, it's a great opportunity for them. It's a great opportunity, which means it's like a great chance for them, right? It's a great usually people say like, wow, thank you for this opportunity, right? That's a common word that people use.
Opportunity 也是一个很好用的字，就等于 chance 机会的意思。It's a great opportunity for somebody. Or you can say, 有的时候我们会讲说啊，错过这个机会 miss the opportunity，或有这个机会 have the opportunity to do something。那我们来看一下这句话在讲什么。In the case of the Edinburgh， 有同学有注意到 Alice 老师是讲 Edinburgh， 通常美国人会讲 Edinburgh。那如果是这个是爱丁堡的节庆，那如果是英国人的话，他们会讲 Edinburgh。就有一点奇怪，有一点不像美式的发音，比较像英国人当地的讲法 Edinburgh。我也觉得很奇怪，我想说我一直是不是念错，因为我也是通常念 Edinburgh。对对对。然后他就说 in the case of 这个是什么意思呢？就是在这个情境下，在这个例子里面，那你也可以说很常用到，比如说如果我们下雨的话，比赛就取消。In the case of rain, we'll cancel the game。所以 in the case of 还蛮常看到，或者是火灾的时候大家要逃生啊，什么 in the case of fire， 这个同学稍微注意一下。那刚刚我们就在讲说，到底是 festival fringe 还是 fringe festival？ 那这边官方的名字它写 festival fringe， 所以我们就先照沿用的这个意思。所以说，如果是艺术家很狂野的话，那这个爱丁堡的易碎节就是他们一展长才的好机会。
The Edinburgh Festival Fringe is the third largest cultural event in the world, which is pretty big, right? Like, I don't actually know what the first or second is. I wish they said that. But if it's the third largest, that means that it must be huge, right? There must be so many artists and and it's the third largest cultural event. So not even just specifically like a music festival or an arts. It's like it could be. It's all those things, right? Cultural event is like music, art, and all those things. So
and drama, perhaps.
Oh yeah, that too.
Drama. 对，所以我们就在讲啊，这个是他是说它是全世界第3大的艺术庆典。那我们知道第1名跟第2名是哪几样，但是呢，你可以知道它从 cultural event 这个词你就知道，它其实涵盖的范围很多，所以不只是街头表演啊，然后唱歌啊，音乐啊。很多可能民俗的一些记忆可能也会在里面看到。Okay.
Next we have it all started in 1947. So if it says it all started in this year, that basically means it's the year it began. So you can say, this story, it all started when this happened or something, right? Sometimes it's how they start a story. So here it's when it began in 1947.
Right, you usually see that in like a movie, right?
Yeah, like it all started when I went to school that one day without my backpack or something.
Right. 这个很常在电影里面看到叙事手法，就是1947年，这是一切故事的起源。
This was the first year that Edinburgh hosted a festival for classical music and drama. So this was the 1947, right, when they say this was the first year, and that's when they hosted a festival, and here they specified it's classical music and drama. So arts, right, that's all incorporated into arts.
Right, but I think we have to pay attention to what it said here. It says for classical music. So this is not something we're seeing in Festival Fringe today.
Right back then, yeah.
刚开始它其实这个算是一个无心插柳的故事，所以第一句就先跟你讲，它本来是要办一个庆典。那这个庆典呢是给古典的音乐跟戏剧。可是我们从第一句可以看得出来，就是 artists can be wild， 就代表说，他们今天所做的表演可能跟以前是非常不一样的。
8 theater companies that were not invited showed up and performed their own shows at smaller venues in the city. So a little rude of them, I think, to show up without being invited, but maybe people liked it, right? And they performed their own shows at smaller venues. That means like smaller stadiums or smaller concert halls. Like venues are places where the events can be held.
Venue 这个字我们其实还蛮常看到，如果你在婚礼地点我们就会讲 venue， 所以这个字还蛮好用，同学帮我记起来 venue。那我们就来看一下这一句，他说，明明就是办那个古典的音乐跟戏剧的节庆，可是就有8个剧团 they were not invited。这里有一个形容词子句，他们怎么样了呢？他们是没有受邀的。既然 showed up， showed up 就是出现了。那出现要干嘛呢？ Performed their own shows， 他们就开始自己的表演了，没有受邀这样子。At smaller venues in the city， 可能他们不是在很正式官方说的场地表演，他们就自己跑去了那个庆典，然后开始了自己的表演。这里有个字 perform， 我们来看一下。Perform 是表演的意思，那你也可以说在学校的表现，小朋友在学校表现的好不好啊？公司的表现好不好？都可以用这个字。那名词的话是 performance， 把 ed 去掉变成 nace performance。So performance at school 你在学校的表现 ，performance at work 你在公司的表现。那所以他那个时候是在小一点的地方进行表演。
Their hope was to take advantage of the large festival crowds and show off their skills to people. So that makes sense why they showed up uninvited, right? Because they wanted to increase their audience, right? They want to, because if you're an unknown artist, it can be hard, right? Maybe nobody wants to see you perform.
Right.
So you have to make your way somehow. So I guess that's what these companies did.
所以这个公司呢，这个我们不会开办的公司，这个是剧团的意思。所以这些剧团刚开始就没有名气嘛，所以当然是我要想办法出个风头这样。所以虽然呢没有受邀，他们的希望还是干嘛呢？ Take advantage of 这个字很重要，就是利用。那利用呢可以是好的，对不对？也可以是坏的。比如说，你去饭店，你想要利用一下他们的设施。I would like to take advantage of the gym in the hotel while I'm here。可是有的时候它可以用在不好的，比如说我们讲占人家便宜的话，也可以这样子。I think you're just lying and taking advantage of her。我觉得你在说谎，然后一直占她便宜。所以这个还蛮好用的，看是用在什么样的情境下。正反都可以，那所以他们就利用了这个很大的活动庆典，然后很多的人潮啊，来 show off， 来展现他们的 skill to people， 他们的技术技巧啊。那这里要注意一下 show up， 我们刚才看到是出现 ，show off 的话是炫耀的意思，可以当成名词。名词的话，把两个字并在一起，重音会转到第一个，变成 show off。你真的很爱现，You're such a show off。有的时候我们就会这样子用，这个字也很好用，请同学记得哦。
So let's think about that for a minute and then get back to paragraph 2. Okay, let's move on to paragraph 2 now. So we start off with one of the meanings of the word fringe is around the border or the outside of an area. So that explains why it's called Edinburgh Festival Fringe, right? Because maybe fringe, I think actually British people also call, like when you have bangs, they also call it a fringe too. So it's not that meaning here, right? Here it's around the border or outside of an area. So like the fringe, I don't know, of a field or something, like the edge of a field.
对 ，fringe 的意思就是边边的意思，所以像如果你要说有的衣服有流苏那种边边，可以叫 fringe。那老师刚才提到刘海，就也是你的头的边边嘛，好，那个也可以叫 fringe。那我们来看一下，他就说呢，这个 fringe 这个字的意思，其中一个呢就是 around the border。这个 fringe 跟 border 其实同义字，同学可以记起来，就是在边缘附近，这个叫 fringe，或者是 outside of an area， 它在一个地方的外边、外缘的地方。所以说，这个 fringe 的由来是这样子的。
It's a perfect name because these theater companies performed on the edge of the city, and they were also performing works that were somewhat outside or on the fringe of mainstream culture. So this was the fringe literally, right, like the edge of the city, and also figuratively because it's not in mainstream culture. It's kind of just outside, right, a little bit alternative. Right. The music, maybe it's not mainstream music. It's like weird music.
So it has multiple meanings here.
Yeah.
所以这个 fringe 其实这个字还蛮深奥的，就是它意思其实是有两个哈。第一个是因为他们 it's a perfect name because these theater companies performed on the edge of the city. 他们实际上呢是在 edge， 我们刚才看到 fringe 对吧？我们讲 border 跟 edge， 他们三个都是同义字，所以同学可以把这三个一起记起来。他们那个8个剧团呢，其实是在这个城市的比较边缘的地方表演，因为他们没有受邀嘛，所以当然只能卡到边边的位置。And they were also performing works that were somewhat outside or on the fringe of the mainstream culture。他也讲到了第二个比较深的意涵，就是他们的艺术作品这个 work 它是可以数的，在讲作品的时候，所以同学要小心哦。那这个 works that were somewhat 就是有一点点 outside or on the fringe of the mainstream culture 是在 mainstream 就主流，台湾人就翻主流，所以你看 main 是主，那 stream 就是流，主流的文化的边缘，所以比较像是次文化，或者是比较可能风格比较前卫的那些文化。那这里再跟同学分享一个字，如果你要讲，这个东西有点前卫，我们有学到这个字 edge， 那你也可以说 edgy。edgy 就是比较边缘，走在比较前面，不是大家这么容易接受的东西。
That's a good point. Yeah, edgy. Like you can say edgy styles, right? You're like, wow, you have like an edgy look. Yeah,
对，有点时髦。对。
So, all right, let's take a break and think about the third paragraph. Okay, paragraph number 3. So we start off with the Edinburgh Festival Fringe takes place in August every year. So it's a summer festival, right? We don't have to be in the cold, right? Because I assume these festivals are outside. Most, I think, are. So yeah, it takes place in August. So a nice summer day.
Yeah. 他就说这个爱丁堡的这个我们这个易碎节，它其实 take place 是说发生举办，是 in August every year， 是在每年的8月，而且它的时间其实是蛮长的，就是整个8月其实都会是那个易碎节的时间。
This year, the festival will run from August 4th to August 28th. So it's actually kind of long. It's most of the month, really. Some of these festivals, you think, oh, it's just one weekend, right? Or maybe just a few days. But yeah, this is quite long, so there must be many performances because they can't all perform in one day. So I guess that's why it's the third largest in the world.
Right. 我们来看一下，它超级长的哦，它其实就是跨了快8月整个月，从8月4号到8月28号都会是这个节日的日期。那我们来看这个字 run， 我们其实看过很多次这个 run， 它有很多意思。那这一次呢，你可以把它想象成是东西持续的时间从 A 点跑到 B 点，所以呢，它的持续的时间是8月4号到8月28号。我们再来讲一个 run 常常出现的意思，比如说那个 Alice 老师常常讲的 run for office 竞选嘛，对不对？然后还有第一个 run a business run a hotel，这个是经营。这3个意思呢，都是在国高中呢同学会被考到的，因为都是比较难一点点的。但你要说它难，它又蛮实用的。
I would say that it's good to know the literal meaning and the like other meanings. Yeah.
就有一些比较抽象，它也是用 run 这个跑的这个感觉，可是它的解释会根据情境而变。
Next we have with free entry and thousands of performances, it's not an event you'll want to miss. Now I know why it's the biggest event, because it's not only really long, but it's also free. Like, that's the important thing, because some festivals, maybe you want to go, but they're too expensive. Their prices are super high. So if it's free, though, a lot more people will go.
Right. 我们就在开玩笑说，因为它是免费的，所以为什么知道它这么大了？因为免费，大家都免费东西最好嘛，对不对？所以 with free entry， 这个 entry 就是进入。那我们来稍微讲一下这个 entry 的意思，因为我们有另外一个字。entrance 对不对？entrance entrance entrance 通常指的是真的入口，就大门那个入口叫 entrance。那 entry 其实2个都可以，一个是入口，那再来一个是入场，这个比较抽象的这个意思。所以说 entry 这个字，同学可以稍微记得一下。那你如果是到哪边的入口，我们会用 entrance 或 entry to somewhere。你不会用 for 或 of， 你要记得要加 to 哦 ，entry to the park。And thousands of 这个 thousand， 发现它加了 s 对吧？所以它的意思一定不是说我们说$1,000那个 thousand， 它是指数以千计的，所以要加 s 哦。Thousands of performances， 我们这边看到了，我们刚才讲到 perform， 这里讲到 performances， 那同学要注意一下这个字尾的 s 复数要怎么念，因为你有没有发现它 performance 它最后一个音是 s，然后你又加了 s， 那你不可能念 performance。所以它就会变成 performances， 所以说这么多数千场的这个表演呢 is not an event you want to miss， 你绝对不会想错过的。
I kind of wish we could go, but it's a little far. But anyway, that's all the time we have today, so we'll see you all next time.
Bye bye.